I feel better now than I have in years. I'm in the best shape I've been since I can't remember. And it's exciting at 42 to be setting PRs and to be reaching new distances that I've never been able to manage before.
So thank you so much for taking the time today to chat with us and share your story about your relationship with alcohol and running and what made you decide to reassess your relationship with alcohol and then stop drinking.
I had kind of cut back on my alcohol consumption for a while for a variety of reasons, mostly for health reasons, both physical health and mental health. I was making the active decision to cut some things in my life that weren't serving me well. And of course, that had a major impact on my running and my ability to train. However, in 2020, we all got hit with the pandemic. Like a lot of folks, I found myself caught in that trap where I was drinking a little bit more than I wanted to fight the boredom of being stuck in the house all the time. And I noticed pretty quickly, I wasn't feeling as well as I had been when I had made the decision to cut back on my alcohol consumption. So I made the decision in July 2020 just to quit cold turkey. There was no defined time really around it. It was more so like, let's give it a try and see how I feel. Pretty early on in the process that I felt better, my energy returned. I was able to recover and do things that, I hadn't previously been doing as well. So I made the decision to stick with it. And here we are almost 2 years later.
And what helped you sort of stick with it since you did cut back cold turkey?
So for me, it was more so focusing on the benefits I was taking away and keeping that very top of mind. I heard an interview with Jesse Itzler once, and he used the term, remember tomorrow. And that just really stuck with me. I was like, well, yeah, I could have a couple of beers tonight and with my friends and, out on the deck, but remember tomorrow, I'm getting up, I've got a run planned, I need to be at it early, and I don't want that dragging me down. So, to stick with it, I just really focused on all the benefits I was taking away from it and keeping that top of mind as kind of my North Star as to why it was the right decision for me.
And can you expand on what some of those benefits were that you experienced?
My sleep improved so much when I cut alcohol out. I didn't realize it even when I was tapering and cutting back before and having less, it was still impacting my sleep. Like even 1 or 2 beers was causing me to be more restless, to not get the same quality. When I went cold turkey, after a little bit of time as my body adjusted, like my sleep just improved dramatically. If you've had some drinks or, you've been out late or whatever it may be, you don't wake up feeling great in the morning. There's always a bit of a fog or some varying degree of hangover that may be following you. And it was so great, like removing that from my life, that when I woke up in the morning, I felt better. I'd had a good night's sleep. I felt rested. And I was ready to take on what I wanted to take on, whether that be a run, whether that be my day, something else in my schedule. It was nice removing that. That morning feeling is something I don't want to give up again.
Yeah, it is nice to actually wake up and feel like you're ready for the day instead of groggy to going to the next step, especially if you're running. The benefits you felt on the run, can you talk a little bit about that?
But I found my recovery really accelerated. Like some of the aches and pains that I was having before, I was able to recover faster and I wasn't having that lingering effect a day to 2 after, say a hard effort. And so I think that has a lot to do with my diet, but I think also the added rest and recovery was aiding that as well. On my runs themselves, I just felt my energy was better. I felt I was able to manage and measure my heart rate better, so I could then track performance and kind of scale up between aerobic and anaerobic as I desired. And I felt like I had more control of the outcome. I had removed that variable that some mornings, if I had a beer or 2 with dinner the night before and I was a bit draggy the next day, I wasn't overcoming that now. And so I was able to really kind of hone in, focus on what was important to me and what I was trying to track for that given run without some of those things holding me back. I'm able to sustain my pace where I want it to be for longer periods of time and then recovering from them better on the back end. So
that's great. And you earned a few PRs.
My first race back after kind of making these changes, I had a new 10K PR. That was a big one. That was kind of my first step up into a longer distance beyond 5Ks. That was kind of where everybody starts, right? And so Setting a 10K PR was really exciting.
Awesome, and congrats on the PRs, always a plus.
Always exciting, yeah.
You mentioned it a bit with your mental state. Anything you've experienced, maybe that was surprising or that you've just noticed since stopping drinking?
I found I've been more patient. I'm able to deal with challenges in a bit more of a response way versus a reactionary way. That helps me a lot with, parenting. I have an 8-year-old and other relationships in my life. I found my focus has improved.
Yeah.
I find I'm able to focus. I'm able to put longer periods of time dedicated to a task at hand. And so that benefits me professionally, but it also benefits me on the road when I'm training, and I'm able to, put in those longer training efforts or stay focused on, say like this morning I did a speed run, for example, and I was doing intervals, and it was not the best weather for it, but I was able to kind of stay focused on my goal and overcome that. And I've seen that change happen since I've made the decision to move away from consuming alcohol.
And I bet the patience and focus will pay off when you run a marathon too, both of which are very important for tackling that distance.
These are benefits that I look at and I think, yeah, they've done a lot for me from a running standpoint, but they're also doing a lot for me from a life standpoint. So it's been great to feel that benefit across multiple facets of who I am.
What sort of advice would you have for others who are thinking about reassessing their relationship? What things should they consider as well?
I fell early on into the trap of comparing myself to friends and colleagues and so on. And, what's their consumption? Oh, well, they look at how much more I can do and I don't drink that much. And I just don't think that's a healthy way to come at it. I think it's about really thinking about what are your goals and where does alcohol fit within that? As I made that assessment and looked at my own goals, it was clear to me that alcohol wasn't really providing much benefit at all. If anything, it was holding me back. And so that was motivation to help me kind of take that next step to where I wanted to go. Don't set I'm quitting forever, I'm quitting for a year. Just take it one day at a time. Say, yeah, I'm not gonna have anything to drink today, and then see how you feel the next day. And then just let that snowball from there. I think often I've spoken with people who've set very aspirational targets and then feel really badly if they have a setback. Just take it one day at a time. That way there's no disappointment if you have a setback. You can just, reset, move forward and continue to go.
Can you talk a little bit about maybe how the running community has supported you, even if it's just through races, or how that's kind of played a role in your life?
This is a conversation that comes up a lot. How often do you finish a race and there's a beer garden set up there and you've got a free ticket attached to your bib, right? So they're very much connected. And so when I've spoken with other people who run or people who are interested in getting into the sport, generally the running community is very supportive of this decision. At least myself as a runner, my goal is to help pick people up. If someone's doing something they feel is going to help them improve and feel better about the effort and what they're achieving, then I'm all about helping them and supporting them on that. And I felt that reciprocated with me, where people have been, very complimentary of me taking the risk, of taking the challenge to decide to give up alcohol, and giving me lots of support for the benefits I'm seeing as an outcome from that.
I love to hear that. Awesome. Is there anything else that you want to add?
Personally, this was the right decision. I feel better now than I have in years. I'm in the best shape I've been since I can't remember. And it's exciting at 42 to be setting PRs and to be reaching new distances that I've never been able to manage before. So I see it as I'm continuing to move up and grow and develop in the sport. And this is just a tool I'm using to get there. So yeah, I would encourage anyone who's out there thinking about in questioning the role that alcohol may play in their running and in their life, just think about what the benefits are and ask yourself, what do you got to lose, right? Take a couple days off, see what you feel, and you'll be surprised at how quickly the benefits far start to outweigh what you've given up to get there.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story and your advice and being open with us about your story and your relationship with alcohol.
Thanks, Mallory.
Awesome. Thank you, Jason. Have a good rest of your day.
All right, you too. We'll talk soon.
Okay. Yep. Bye.